I do have something that I want to talk about, and that topic is heavily based on my path to God and my faith. And this isn't preaching to anybody. This isn't me breaking out Bible verses and telling you need to do this, this, or that. This is just me talking about my experience. Their experiences, plural. Because I feel like it's such an important part of my journey that I share my journey with anybody who will listen. When I was a teenager, when I was a young adult, when I was a preteen even, because I loved Michael Jackson and Madonna, when I was a preteen, I was so blinded and duped and distracted by this world. And not just young adult, but all the way into my 40s, my 30s and 40s. And it has taken me that long to realize some things that when I look back on it, it shocks me that I never saw it before. Now, some people might say, well, you're just getting old. When you get old, you start thinking old. You start becoming your parents. Or you lose your interest in things that are fun. You lose interest in the things that you used to do, the things that you used to be passionate about, because you're old and those things no longer matter to you anymore. But I'm here to tell you, it has nothing to do with getting old. It's got everything to do with just your eyes being open to the reality of this world, to the reality of our society, our culture. It's almost impossible to explain to someone who is not there yet how damaging culture and society is, and worldly passions, the things that we loved when we grew up, the musicians, the movies, the books, the music, the pretty much everything, anything that if you think about it, like think about when you were a teenager. I don't know how old you are, but if you're in your 30s or 40s, I'm sure you've heard at some point in your life that people call the music you listen to demonic, or a movie is demonic. But when I was a teenager and I had to listen to these things, it made me so mad. I hated it. I hated loving. I used to listen to heavy metal. I've listened to all kinds of music throughout my whole life. But heavy metal and rock music got the biggest, the worst rap for being demonic music. And, with good reason, if you really think about it, the symbols that they use on their album covers, down to the lyrics in their songs and the titles of their songs and the way they would dress was very, according to the Bible, it was demonic. But, at that time, I'm like, I'm not demonic. I'm not a devil worshiper. I just like listening to heavy metal music. I like listening to rock music. That doesn't make me a devil worshiper. It doesn't make, me demonic, or these things that I enjoy are not demonic. And it's ridiculous that these people claim that. And, I would flip these people off. A big F-you to these Bible-thumpers who go around talking about how my music is demonic, or I'm a devil worshiper because I listen to this music. And I just never understood it. I could not, the truth of the matter is I didn't want to understand it, because that was so completely ridiculous to me that I didn't even give it a second thought. I just thought, these people are old. They're trying to run my life. They're trying to tell me what to do. They're trying to make me live the way that they live. And they're just, bullies. And that's what most of us do when we hear something like that, whether it's about, music or books or movies or TV shows or, a hobby that we enjoy. Maybe it's yoga or playing around with a Ouija board, crystal therapy, horoscopes, things like that. All of these things, we most of us really don't consider there's nothing demonic about it. It's just a simple thing that we do. It doesn't make us devil worshipers. There's nothing demonic about it. And we can't relate to these Bible thumpers because they're just bullies. They're just old bullies, decrepit, washed up, have nothing left to live for, and they just want to make everybody else miserable. They don't want anybody else to have fun. Nobody else can have a good time because they can't anymore. And that's the way I used to see them. And I never could look at anything that I listened to, or, even when I claimed to be a Wiccan. I was probably, 17, 18, or 19 years old when I dabbled in witchcraft. I'm quoting with my fingers here. I bought some books and burned some candles and watched movies like The Craft, and I just loved stuff like that. And I called myself a witch, or I was a Wiccan. And even then, I didn't think there was anything demonic or wrong with that. I just thought it's just something to do. It's just, it's just life. There's nothing evil about it. I'm not sacrificing kittens or babies or puppies. I'm not killing someone in any way. I'm not doing anything wrong. But now that my eyes are open, my mouth is on the floor at the reality, at the things that I thought I knew because I was so smart. I was so much better than these people, calling my passions and the things that I loved wrong. How dare they say my music is devil worship or demonic? How dare they? But my mouth is on the floor at the realization, because now I see they were right. They were absolutely right. Maybe I'm not saying that everybody that tried to tell me these things or told my friends, or I'm not saying they were great people and they were not hypocrites. I'm just saying that the information that they were relaying, that they were trying to get through to me and other people my age, was right. Because I see it now in today's music and movies, and that I try to watch. I can't even watch stuff anymore because I feel like unbelievable how terrible watching something like this is. How did I get through life subjecting myself to this? And then I realized that all of this stuff 100% helped contribute to the troubled life that I led. But let me get back to the music really quick. I don't even know who these artists are. I've seen clips on Instagram and in YouTube shorts. I know who some of them are, but I've never actually listened to their music, and then I never will. But I think there's like this one rapper who did a video about, I mean, he's like dressed up as like Satan or something, and he's got like a brand of shoes that are very demonic. And another one is this female. I can't even remember her name. Is on the tip of my tongue. She's got dark hair. She used to be go by she, her pronouns, and then she changed and she was something else, and she cut her hair real short. Her name is on the tip of my tongue, and I just cannot remember her name. I'm gonna have to look it up really quick. It's Demi Lovato. I can't believe I couldn't remember that. I hear about her all the time, even though I try not to see stuff like that anymore. But I've seen the album cover. She's laying on a bed shaped like a cross, and she's dressed in this really nasty looking stuff, and she's like in bondage. And then there's I guess he's a rapper, like Lil Nas, and something about a video where he's seducing the devil. There are so many artists that just are blatantly defying Christ and the Bible, that it makes me sick, and it hurts my heart. Because let me put it this way. Even if they don't believe in Jesus Christ, they don't believe that he died for our sins and rose 3 days later, he was such a kind person, not necessarily a nice person, because he's a warrior, but a kind person. You're not going to find anyone in this world like him. Even though we all need to be like him, no one is ever going to be like Jesus was. And let's just say, just for the sake of this conversation, or this one-sided conversation, since I'm the only one talking, if you do me a favor and you watch the series called The Chosen, okay, and you will see the personality, the love of Jesus Christ, how he was as a human, as a man, and he was so kind. And so even if you don't believe him to be real, let's say you just believe he's, it's just a fictional story about a guy who did some wonderful things, never hurt anyone in his life. I think it's like 33 years. And he was just like the kindest, gentlest man ever to walk this earth. How in the world can you mock somebody like that, whether you believe he's real or not? Why would you want to mock someone like that? So it's just beyond me. It just baffles me how people can be that way, how people can have that mindset toward Christ and the Bible and the Word of God. And it's so in your face, blatant rebellion against something or someone that they don't believe in, yet they have such a strong opinion toward this kind soul that they have to do something that drastic to express themselves. It just doesn't make any sense to me, other than the obvious to some people. is that the enemy is using people like Demi Lovato and Lil Nas and other artists who have clearly shown rebellion against Christ. He's using them as this platform. He's using them to influence more people and steer them in the wrong direction. And I just pray and hope that one day that these people will see what they're doing and the damage that they've done. Nobody goes this far for other religions. Nobody goes to such lengths to mock these religions or these spiritual choices the way they do Christianity and Jesus Christ. And that right there should tell you that there's something to this. And I see it everywhere now. I see, just the blatant devil worship. Like I feel like I've wasted my whole life doing the wrong thing, being involved in the wrong things, when I could have been doing what I'm doing now. And I just wish more people would realize the damage that they are doing, not just to the world, but to themselves. And I see it now. And it's heartbreaking, but it's eye-opening. And all I can do is just try to maybe help other people to see what I couldn't see, to see what I now see. And it's so hard. And I know it's hard because I used to be on the other side of the fence where I didn't want to hear that crap from anyone. I didn't want to be preached to. I didn't want these Jesus freaks, quoting with my fingers again, coming up to me and asking me, do I know Jesus? I'd be like, no, get away from me. Even though deep down I did. There was a part of me that did want to know. And there was a part of me that has always believed in Jesus Christ. Even when I was a little girl. And even during my teenage years when I was doing stupid stuff. I always believed, at least deep down. I always thought about, hey, no, is this wrong? And then I'd go do it anyway because it wouldn't last. The guilt wouldn't last. The thought wouldn't last. And so that's where I'm at now. I'm just in that realization moment. And when I say moment, I mean it's been a couple months. That moment has lasted a couple months since the realization finally hit me. And that leads me to the next part of the topic. I was looking over or listening to some of the old recordings that I had done that I never posted. They were just sort of for me. They weren't really for the internet. And I found one that I did a couple of months ago. It was right after my appendectomy surgery here in Mexico. And I was just very distraught. I was in that moment where I needed God to tell me what He wanted me to do. I wanted to live for the Lord. I wanted to do what I knew that I needed to do, but I wasn't sure how, because I was talking about how I needed to, I would have to give up everything. I would have to give up everything that I enjoy doing, the things that I like to write, the fantasy and the crime and suspense and the, new adult, or just pretty much everything that I've written and published as far as books go. And I wasn't ready to give that up because I thought, well, this is what I'm good at. How can I just stop doing what I've done my whole life? Because then what would I do? And then I started trying to trick myself into thinking that, well, God gave me this gift and he allowed me to write these books. So how is it wrong? But I knew something in the back of my mind was telling me that's not what he intended you to do with the gift he gave you. But I still, at that point, during this little voice recording that I had done that day out of desperation, I just I wasn't ready to give it up. But at the same time, I was ready. So it's really hard to understand. It's really hard to describe. And I was lost. I didn't know what I was going to do. I knew what I needed to do to follow Christ. I knew what I needed to do. But I was asking God, how do I do this, basically? And then I just prayed for guidance. I prayed for, wisdom. I prayed tell me how to do this. And then just a few days later, just a few days, maybe 2 or 3, the desire to want to write the things that I used to write or watch the movies that I used to watch, it just disappeared. It left just like that, the snap of a finger, basically. And still to this day, I have no desire, not any whatsoever, to go back to that life. And I used to think, well, those were my passions. Those are the things that I love to do. Those are the things that I've done all my whole life. And I just don't love that anymore. It's gone. And it has been replaced with things that are suited to my journey back to God and what I'm supposed to be here to do. So I'm still on that path, obviously. I don't think our paths ever really stop until we die. But I'm still figuring things out. I'm still contemplating. I'm still wondering exactly what it is I'm supposed to do while I'm working on things that I think I'm supposed to do. Things that feel right. That's where I'm at now. It's just it's an update. I wanted to do an audio only episode so that I could really get personal and really explain things in a way that I can't in video. And so that's where I'm at. And I just kind of wanted to give everyone an update. And I don't really know what else to say. I just really needed to say that I don't have no desire to do these things anymore that I used to do, that I thought would be so hard to let go of. And I thought it was so unfair that I would have to let go of these things that I love to do just to follow God. And now that those desires, what I thought were needs, now that they're gone, I cannot imagine going back. I can't. I look at my life now and I have such a perspective that I am just so happy and blessed to finally be at the point that I am, because while I still feel a little confused about what I'm supposed to do, and I'm still conflicted about this and that, and I'm still trying to figure things out, I feel clarity for the first time in my life. Or actually, the second time. The first time was when I first let God into my life back, fully, in around 1999, I think it was, or 2000. No, it was before 2000. But that's one of my episodes for my Miracles and Signs series that I'll get to very soon. But for the first time right now, or the second time in my life, I have real clarity. And I think right now it's even more so, because back in 1999 or whatever year that was, I didn't have the knowledge that I have now. But yeah, that I have it now, and I would not trade it for anything. I refuse to just let music or movies or television or books or life in general to poison my spirit. The only thing I can do is talk about my experience and then just hope that somebody listening gets something from it. All I can do is plant my seeds and hope they grow. But I just want to thank the people who do listen. Thank you for being with me on this journey, especially the ones that, have been with me since the first episode. And yeah, some of the episodes I've deleted a long time ago and when I was going through one of my weird things, but I just feel like, you're kind of like a kinship there. You've been with me from the beginning, if, what have you. Not technically, but you know what I mean. And I really appreciate that. And I hope you'll stick with me. Because we all go through these periods in our life where sometimes people just, they get turned off by things. They don't want to hear it anymore. And it's happened with me recently online. And I talk about how I'm, basically shifting my focus, my life, my heart to Christianity and to following the Word of Christ. And, the love of Christ, following the Word of God. And I lost a couple of followers, but, one in particular that I was kind of surprised to lose. And, but, these things happen. So I just hope you kind of stick with me, kind of stick it out and see where this goes. It's nothing more real and raw than stripping your life of everything everybody else loves and going your own way, going a direction that most people don't go. And to see how many people will stick with you through that. It's interesting, to say the least. But anyway, that's the episode for today. Thanks for listening, and until next time.